Did you know that non-fat yogurt and sugary cereal can raise the same level of insulin? Let's find out why. Welcome to the Kronobolic, where we decode the chronicles of metabolism. This video is all about giving you a better idea of how your body works. Nothing too heavy, just some cool science made simple. So, grab a drink, get comfy, and let's explore how metabolism does its thing. So, a quick outline of what's coming up. What are the glycemic and the insulin index, and how are they different? What triggers insulin, and why are insulin spikes important for weight loss and prediabetes? And some science packed practical takeaways from this video, so hang out till the end. Most people rely only on the glycemic index to judge how food affects blood sugar and insulin levels, but there's more to the story. When you eat carbohydrates, your body breaks them down into sugar during digestion, releasing glucose into the bloodstream. In response, your pancreas releases insulin, a hormone that helps move sugar into your cells for energy. The glycemic index measures how quickly and how much a carbohydrate containing food raises blood sugar levels. It was originally introduced to help people with diabetes manage their diet. GI only applies to foods containing carbohydrates and does not measure insulin levels directly. Here's where it gets tricky. Nutrients other than carbohydrates can also trigger an insulin response. That's where the insulin index comes in. The insulin index measures how much insulin your body releases after eating, regardless of whether the food is high in sugar or not. That is why non fat Greek yogurt, which has a low glycemic index due to its low sugar content, can still raise insulin levels as much as or more than sugary cereal. Now, not all foods trigger the same amount of insulin, and this depends on several factors. Let's break down insulin triggers by nutrient type. Carbohydrates, the energy molecule. Carbohydrates are the most straightforward. They directly raise blood sugar and, in turn, stimulate insulin release. The higher the glycemic index, the faster and greater the spike in both blood sugar and insulin. Proteins, the muscle molecule. Proteins also trigger insulin, though less predictably. Just like carbohydrates break down into sugars, proteins break down into amino acids during digestion. Some amino acids are known as insulinogenic, meaning they stimulate a stronger insulin response. As per recent research, these include the amino acids leucine, lysine, and arginine. This is why whey protein and certain dairy products cause a high insulin response as they are rich in these amino acids. Lean meats follow next, while plant proteins typically have a milder effect. Artificial sweeteners, the misunderstood marvels. Most artificial sweeteners have little or no carbohydrates, so they score low on the glycemic index. But surprisingly, as per research, some still trigger insulin because of brain signaling, gut hormone activation, and individual metabolic sensitivity. Here's a visual bar chart showing the insulin response levels of some commonly used artificial sweeteners. Fats and fiber, the unsung heroes. In general, pure fats and dietary fiber have little to no impact on insulin because healthy fats don't significantly trigger insulin release and fiber slows carbohydrate absorption. This is also why apples, despite containing natural sugars, have a relatively low to moderate glycemic index and an even lower insulin index. Thanks to their high fiber content, which slows the absorption of sugar and reduces the insulin response. There are some exceptions, like some cheeses trigger insulin due to the presence of insulinogenic amino acids. Before we dive further, take a second to subscribe. It really helps support the channel and keeps you in the loop with the latest research. It's worth noting, in general, the more processed a food is, the higher its glycemic and insulin index. This is because processing tends to make nutrients easier to digest and absorb, which leads to faster spikes in blood sugar and insulin. Take carbohydrates, for example. White bread is more processed than whole grain bread. The grains are finely ground and stripped of fiber, so it breaks down faster, causing a bigger spike. With proteins, think of deli meats, which are ground and pre cooked, making them easier to absorb, and that leads to a higher insulin response. And with fats, while most fats don't raise insulin much, processed trans fat like hydrogenated oils can mess with how insulin works, making the body produce more insulin over time. Natural fats, for example, cold pressed olive oil, don't have that effect. So, overall, How an ingredient is processed can matter just as much as what it's made of. Now, before we jump into real world tips, you might be wondering why does all of this even matter? An insulin spike is a sharp rise in insulin levels after eating, especially common with high GI or high II foods. These spikes signal the body to store energy, often as fat, and reduce fat burning. Insulin acts like a key, unlocking your cells to allow glucose in for energy. But here's the catch. If insulin is constantly elevated from frequent spikes, your body stays in storage and slow fat burning mode. And over time, this may even lead to obesity, insulin resistance, prediabetes, or type 2 diabetes. So, understanding all of this gives a much clearer picture of how food affects metabolism. Let's dive into some practical science backed strategies so you can support your metabolism, feel more in control, and nourish your body without stress or too much restriction. First up, reducing the overall glycemic and insulin index of your food. No naked carbs or smart pairing of food. What you eat together can change your blood sugar and insulin response. It is not sustainable and absolutely difficult to avoid high glycemic and insulin index foods. However, eating such foods alone causes a quick insulin spike. So, pairing them with other low GI and II ingredients can help bring down the overall glycemic and insulin index. Try resistant starch. Starch is a common type of carbohydrate found in many plant based foods. But here's the cool part. When you cook and then cool these starchy foods, they change into resistant starch, which isn't fully absorbed by your body. That means it releases lower blood sugar, improves gut health, and even supports better insulin response. Another cool thing, the starch that got resistant would remain resistant even after you reheat it. Cook al dente. This means to cook pasta and vegetables until just tender, not mushy. Less cooked starches are digested more slowly. Watch portion size. Even low GI foods can cause spikes if you eat in large portions. Combine all these tips with moderate portions for better results. Add acids to your food. Acids can slow stomach emptying and reduce GI. Use vinegar based dressings or squeeze lemon before consuming your food. Choose less processed food. As mentioned before, processing increases GI and II of ingredients, so try pairing or swapping processed food with unprocessed food. Next powerful strategy is reducing the suddenness of insulin spikes. You can't completely avoid your insulin from going up. It's natural and how our bodies are designed, but you can slow the spike. Order of food. Eat in a metabolic friendly way. Believe it or not, the order in which you eat your food matters. Best sequence is to start with fiber, then have fats and proteins, and finish with carbohydrates. Research shows this simple shift lowers the glycemic and insulin response even with the same meal. Move after you eat. A short walk after meals help insulin return to normal faster, meaning less time in fat storage mode. Over time, it can also improve your body's insulin sensitivity. Finally, reducing the frequency of insulin spikes. Spacing out meals. Give your body time to bring insulin back to normal between meals. Constant snacking means constant insulin, and that means no fat burning. Aim for 3 balanced meals and avoid binge eating to support your metabolism. Lastly, try to avoid large meals within 2 hours of sleeping. This helps insulin settle before rest and promotes fat burning overnight. Loving the breakdown so far? Then, if you haven't already, tap that subscribe button. Before we finish, some things to remember. Start slow. You don't need to do everything at once. Begin with 1 or 2 strategies, then build from there. Small consistent changes work best as it gives your body time to adjust. That's how you create sustainable habits and long term metabolic health. Lifestyle matters a lot. It's not just what you eat. Your exercise, sleep, and stress levels all affect insulin sensitivity. Bonus tip: avoid going to bed very hungry as it can actually wake you up, and increase cortisol, a stress hormone that interferes with insulin. Also, avoid caffeine after 2 or 3 p.m. as it can mess with your sleep and indirectly affect your metabolism. Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, then please do like it and subscribe to the channel for more science-backed insights on metabolism. Drop a comment below if you have tried any of these hacks or have any suggestions on what else I should cover next. See you in the next video.